Hey, and welcome to the Big Ten Huddle. I'm your host, JR, and today we're talking about Big Ten basketball bracketology, analyzing where teams stands in their NCAA tournament chances. If you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it, you like Big Ten basketball, please do like and subscribe. The Big Ten Huddle covers Big Ten basketball and football. This is our basketball channel, but if you like here and you all like what you hear here and you also like football, check out our football channel with the link that's in the description, or by searching the Big Ten Huddle podcast, you'll find the same logo for this channel, just with a grass background. All right, enough of that, because the regular season is winding down. Football's over, guys. The Super Bowl's over. Every game matters from this point out. Every team has a chance to either improve their chances in the tournament or play spoiler for that hated rival that you have. Let's take a closer look at where things stand for each Big Ten team and what their tournament hopes look like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go this into categories here, right? Category one is top tier Big Ten teams. Purdue is the highest ranked Big Ten team, holding steady at the number 2 seed and even eyeing a potential number 1 seed if things break their way. The Boilermakers are a lock to make the tournament, absolute lock. Even if they lose the rest of their games, they're a lock because they boast an impressive 14-5 record in quad 1 and 2 games with a net ranking of 8. Their upcoming road test against Michigan and Michigan State, along with a home game against Wisconsin, will be critical in solidifying their seeding with top 10 metrics across the board. Purdue is a lock for the tournament and one of the top contenders to make a deep run in the tournament for the Big Ten. A strong finish could ensure that they remain a favorite to reach the Final Four. Next, we have the Wisconsin Badgers, who ESPN has given a 92% chance to make the tournament. The Badgers continue to impress as they range anywhere from a number 3 to 4 seed. I've kind of seen it both ways. Following a strong week this past week, they handled Indiana at home and secured a solid road win over hated rival Iowa. Sorry, Hawkeyes. Further cementing their resume. Wisconsin's only losses have come in quad 1 matchups, and their well-rounded metrics make them a strong candidate for a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament with upcoming games against Purdue and Michigan State. Their placement could shift, but they are safely in the field. Pretty much no doubt about that. Just don't lose every single one of the rest of your games. We don't have to worry about it. Easy, done. Their disciplined play and depth could make them a dangerous team come March. Next is the Michigan State Spartans, who, despite a recent rough patch remaining, they remain a number 3 or 4 seed with a 95% chance of making the tournament. The Spartans' resilience showed in a comeback win against Oregon after tough losses to USC and UCLA. They sit at 5-4 in quad 1 games and have key matches against Illinois and Purdue looming. Right after the Super Bowl, guys, we are getting some of the best games in the Big Ten basketball season, and I absolutely love it. Tom Izzo's squad is battle tested and remains a dangerous tournament team. If they clean up their turnovers and improve their perimeter defense, and Jace Richardson keeps being what he was against Oregon, they could make a serious run. Now we will turn to the most inconsistent team in the country that just keeps winning, and that is the Michigan Wolverines. A 4-game winning streak for them if they push to a number 5 seed with a 95% chance of making the tournament. Though with close calls against Oregon and kind of Indiana, that score makes it a little bit closer than it actually was, highlighted their volatility. The Wolverines have a strong net ranking of 18 and good quad 1 wins, but their erratic play, turnovers could affect their seeding if it starts costing them some games. Big matchups against Purdue and Ohio State this week will test their ability and what they can do. If they continue to dominate the board and improve late game execution as they've been doing, they could move up a seed line. Our next category is the mid-tier teams who are holding steady. First is UCLA. The Bruins are the hottest team in the Big Ten, riding a 7-game winning streak into a solid number 6 seed and an 88% chance to make the NCAA tournament. Key wins over Michigan State and Penn State have boosted their resume, and their top 25 strength of record ranking indicates they are in great position. If they can continue their streak against Illinois and Indiana this week, they could push for a number 5 seed. Their defensive intensity has has been a game changer, and if they maintain their efficiency, they could be a dangerous opponent. They do need to start being a little bit better on offense, though, but you got to love the efficient numbers that they show on defense and how they're able to score in clutch situations. Maryland had a mixed week, suffering a tough road loss to Ohio State before bouncing back with a strong home win over Rutgers. They will be in the tournament as ESPN has given them a 94% chance to make the NCAA tournament. Their balanced resume features a top 20 net ranking and no losses by more than 6 points, keeps them firmly in the tournament picture. A strong finish could push them to a number 5 seed, but they're probably closer to a 6 seed right now. Their ability to control the tempo and force turnovers makes them a difficult matchup for any team they're going to face. The final one of this category, of this tier, is Illinois, which remains a lock for the tournament at 95%, but they have to hold on to that seeding, and the rest of the season is pretty tough. They could be anywhere from a number 5 to a number 7 seed due to uncharacteristic losses, but very high computer rankings. Their losses to Rutgers hurt, Northwestern, all those, though they rebounded with a dominant win over Minnesota, where Will Riley showed a lot of promise. It begs the question, was this a glimpse of the Illinois team that could make a run in the NCAA tournament? With 6 of their final games against top 25 net teams, Illinois will need to perform well down the stretch to maintain their current position. Be sure you're watching for that UCLA game on Tuesday night, tomorrow night, whenever you're watching this, right? Unfortunately, this is a place where they find themselves after losing games that they shouldn't have lost against USC, Northwestern, and Rutgers. But regardless, this Illinois team is dangerous, and they could end up being a bracket buster for some people out there. Next, we're going to get into the bubble teams and their tournament hopes. But before we do that, please go visit cbbanalytics.com and use code HUDDLE, HUDDLE for $30 off. CBB. That's it. CBB, college basketball. CBB Analytics is a premier stat site for men's and women's college basketball used by fans, and I kid you not, the college basketball coaches use it as well. I use it, and it is invaluable. Go check it out at cbbanalytics.com and use code HUDDLE, HUDDLE, HUDDLE for $30 off. Okay, back to it, because next we have Oregon, who is one of the most difficult teams to evaluate, boasting 8 quad 1 wins, which is the most in the Big Ten, but they've lost 5 games in a row and even 6 of their last 7. Their losing streak has dropped them to around a number 7 or 8 seed, as the metrics do not love them, and their tournament chances sit at only 82%. They need to stop the slide with wins against Northwestern and Rutgers. These are easy wins, for the Big Ten this week to stay off the bubble. Their lack of consistency is concerning, but their raw talent makes them capable for surprising teams in the tournament. A team with similar odds actually is Ohio State, who remains a classic bubble team, performing well at home but struggling on the road. A split week with a win over Maryland, but a loss at Nebraska keeps them at about a 9 seed. The remaining schedule presents opportunities to solidify their bid, but consistency is key. If they can win just 4 games, that's all you need to do, Buckeyes, to end the regular season and get healthy. This team could be a dangerous team in the tournament, but they're really going to need more from their front court, as it's just not been good for their front court of Ohio State at all. Speaking of Nebraska, they are surging, moving from last 4 territory into a 10 seed this week. A 4-game winning streak, almost a losing streak, 4-game winning streak, including a crucial victory over Ohio State, has boosted their tournament hopes to 57%. If they continue this strong play, they could lock in a bid soon. Their physicality, their rebounding ability gives them an edge, and not to mention Bryce Williams and the star player that he's been the last few games. As for teams on the outside looking in, Indiana is one of them who has a resume that is pretty clean with no bad losses, but you're also looking at 2-10 against quad 1 teams. They lack signature wins. Close losses to Wisconsin and Michigan have left them on the outside looking in. With the recent announcement of Mike Woodson's departure at the season's end, the Hoosiers need a strong finish to have a shot at sneaking into the field. If they can improve their late game execution, they might have a chance to break through, but at only 32%, It remains not likely. Another team who didn't help themselves this week, boy, did they have a terrible week and find themselves needing to do a ton of work, is USC. Their hopes take a big hit with back-to-back losses to Purdue wasn't so bad, but Northwestern, especially with leading scorer Desmond Claude sidelined at 20% tournament odds. They must win games against Penn State and Minnesota this week to stay in contention. If they lose either of those games, I really, really don't like their chances. Their defense has been a problem, and unless they tighten up, they could be out of the race pretty soon. Finally, teams with a long shot, but still a chance, right? Like you're saying, there's a chance. It's from that Dumb and Dumber movie. Anyway, but still a chance are Rutgers, Northwestern, and Iowa. While these three teams are still mathematically in the conversation, Rutgers probably more than any of them, their chances of making the NCAA tournament are pretty slim. Rutgers has shown flashes of potential with wins over Illinois and UCLA, but they also lost to Kennesaw State. So they sit far down in the standings to be considered a strong contender. Northwestern has battled injuries lately and lack enough quality wins to push them into the field. Iowa, meanwhile, has struggled against top teams in the Big Ten, and this situation without Owen Freeman is just not ideal at all. They would likely need to win the conference tournament to earn a bid, but if they want to do that, they have got to make the tournament and be a top 9 seed in the tournament. I don't see a team outside of the top 9 seeds winning the tournament because it's nearly impossible for teams without a bye to win it all. For any of these teams to make an NCAA tournament, they must get hot immediately, string together multiple marquee wins, and make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. They have the talent. I mean, these teams are talented. Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Peyton Sanford, Nick Martinelli. Like, these teams have talent, but time is running out, and they need to make a legitimate push. That wraps it up for this Big Ten bracketology update, analysis, whatever you want to call it. As we head down the stretch, the battles for seeding, bubble spots will be intense. Will Purdue secure a number 1 seed? Can Michigan State and Wisconsin hold on to a top 3 seed placement? And will any of these bubble teams push their way into the field? Can Oregon find themselves? Can Ohio State overcome their injuries and bad health? And can the Nebraska Cornhuskers get that first NCAA tournament win? Like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate you guys watching. Trying to do as much college basketball, Big Ten basketball in particular, content on this channel as much as I possibly can. So please do like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what else you guys want to hear about. I really appreciate your time. Stay tuned for more updates for everything going on in Big Ten basketball. Thanks for joining me on the Big Ten Huddle.